Oh man, we need to have a talk because time is running out. We're approximately 378 days away from the Bitcoin halving. Things are shifting from a fundamental perspective, from a macro perspective, from a technical perspective. We are seeing major shifts here in the crypto and macro landscape, and this is starting to lead us to the conclusion that we do not have long left. We need to decide. Are we in or are we out? Are we going to sit on the fence and miss out and wait for another 4 years till the next cycle? We're going to analyze exactly what's happened in previous cycle. I'm also going to share with you what's going on. There's been some crazy updates. eToro are offering crypto trading directly integrated into Twitter. Of course, we had the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade yesterday. We also had PPI inflation, which we're going to cover off as well. So let's get straight into it with the PPI reading. Yesterday, we covered off CPI. We got good CPI inflation data coming in. Today, we got the release of the PPI inflation, which was hugely bullish as well. Month on month, actually came down 0.5% month on month. That is huge, guys, versus expected plus 0.1. The year-on-year figures improved 2.7% versus 3 expected. Month on month core was better than expected, negative reading instead of a positive. This was a huge beat across the board here on the PPI data, further backing up this idea that inflation looks like it's starting to go away. Couple that with the CPI data we had yesterday, couple that with the improving figures in the jobs market showing that the labor market is starting to soften, and you end up painting a picture that we are close to seeing the Fed do one more hike in May. On May the 3rd, the FOMC meeting, which the market is pricing in here, 63% of the market expecting one more hike, but then we could be seeing a pause. This 5 to 5.25 range on the Fed funds rate could be our peak rate. That could be our terminal rate. We could be done from there. And that's looking really, really exciting for markets. Now, if we then head over, we also had the Shanghai upgrade. Now, if you take a look here, you can see the exit queue distribution. Remember, I covered this off in detail. Loads of people are like, oh, this is going to lead to the Ethereum price to dump. I made a video saying, guys, I don't think so. I gave all my rationale behind that. I don't know if many of you watched that, but you should have. And now you're seeing that the Ethereum price action is doing the opposite, right? Ethereum is doing really well here on the chart, up 4.16%. So we're starting to see Ethereum move. And if you look at the queue, you can see that majority of this queue of people looking to withdraw is Kraken. And that makes complete sense. We spoke about this again in my video. The ones who are likely to want to withdraw their staked ETH are the ones who are facing pressure by the SEC. And we know Kraken were one of those on their earn program. So that's something to watch out for as well. I want to get to the main topic, which is this, guys, the Bitcoin halving clock. We're just over a year, so 378 days away from the next halving, which would take the block reward from 6.25 Bitcoins to 3.125. Now, of course, everybody who's in the crypto space has heard about this halving and, oh, we need to watch out for this halving. But what impact does it have? What do we need to understand, and what does it mean for the price action 1 year prior to the halving? So we know this vertical line here on April the 26th. Yes, April the 26th, 2024 is the rough date of when the halving happened. Remember, it happens on a specific block number, so it's not on an exact date, but there or thereabouts. So we put a vertical line. We then got where we're at now, which is exactly almost a year ahead of the halving. And then what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you what happened in the previous cycle. And if you look at the previous cycle, needless to say, after the halving on May the 11th, 2020, we went on a crazy run, right? Bitcoin went on a crazy run. That's needless to say. We know what Bitcoin managed to achieve, and it went on its crazy run towards 64,000. But what happened in the year in the run-up? Because that's where we're at now. We're 1 year from the halving. And what you can see is you had a year here where Bitcoin did pretty well. It was a 70% return on the year. Not too shabby. I know we're so spoiled here in the crypto space, but it did a 70% return, okay? From the point it entered here up to where it left that year, which was exactly the Bitcoin halving on May the 11th. So that's the parallel of where we're at now. This could be our final opportunity, which is still a little bit expensive, right? It's going to feel expensive because if you're buying now Bitcoin at 30 versus 15.5 or 20,000 where it was at the beginning of the year, it's a lot harder to do. But you've got to remind yourself, you're in this chunk here, right? We're in this opportunity window where Bitcoin is still working its way up to the bull run, but then when it hits, it will go parabolic. And that's where you need to ask yourself, do you want to be in this race or do you want to be out? And if you're out, then you've got to ask yourself, okay, am I waiting for the next cycle? Am I just not interested in crypto? What's stopping me from being involved? And you need to go through that process, right? Of saying, what is it? Are you going to miss this cycle? Because look, everybody missed cycles. I missed cycles when I was first in crypto because you just don't believe in it quite. And that's because your conviction levels are not there. But once you've been through a few, somebody famously said, you will buy Bitcoin at the price you deserve. So you need to ask yourself, are you ready for this cycle? Are you accumulated? Are you locked and loaded? Are you happy with your portfolio size? Because we are not far away from this playing out right now. Let's now jump into here on the hourly chart on Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin is forming a bull flag, okay? It's just consolidating for a little bit here over the last couple of days. It's just consolidating around that 30K level mark, which is good. Build some scaffolding, hold that level. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if it wants to come down and retest 29, that's okay. 29 was such a hard level to break through. If it wants to come retest it and then continue its move, absolutely fine. What it's actually showing right now by not heading down just yet is some relative strength. It's trying to consolidate. And normally when you consolidate, you want to break to the upside, right? The bulls will want that to happen. Now, of course, the bears will want to take us towards 29. So you've got to be prepared for 29, but equally, you want to be prepared for the breakout. And if we break out to the top side, you could be taking a measured move, something like this, of the leg we've just had, and you apply it here. And what you can see is this will give you a price target similar to the price targets we had in that 32.5K region. And it's interesting because a lot of our patterns which we've been monitoring have been giving us targets to that effect. I mean, if we come here to our ascending broadening wedge, that's playing out nicely as well. It was stalling for a long time here. It was holding support around the top of the wedge. Now, after this latest hike, you can see we're now working towards our price target. And the price target of this move is 33.5K on the ascending broadening wedge. Another way to look at the price action here is to look at Bitcoin here on the 4 hourly, and it's in this ascending rising channel. And you can see this channel is moving nicely, obeying the bottom and top lines of support and resistances, bounced from the bottom here at 27.7 and worked its way to where we're at now. If you look at where we're at now, we're in the middle here, and the question is going to be, do we need to come back down for support, which could bring you down here to 29, 28.5, or has it got enough momentum to work its way to the top of the channel, which gets you to that 32,000 price target before then maybe needing a little bit of a consolidation? So same thing, it's all indicating around that 32.5K region is where this latest leg wants to take it. But of course, the bears will want to try put some pressure on to get us back down to that 29,000 level. Incidentally, we also need to take a look at the dollar index as well. Dollar index continues to take a hit with the latest CPI reading yesterday and PPI figures which just came out, and you can see it now getting another violent hit to the downside here on the 4-hourly chart in its descending channel here. If we take a look at the daily chart, again, nice big move to the downside, and we're happy with this. As long as the CMA ribbon is in the bearish pattern, it's moving to the downside, that's going to give the room for Bitcoin to move. Now, incidentally, we've been speaking over the last few days how Bitcoin has been having its move, but today, with the start of Ethereum after the Shanghai upgrade, which you've seen, this is what Ethereum's managed to do today, a nice big bounce off its EMA ribbon, trying to get a nice big move here. Always markets will do what you least expected to do. Everybody was shouting about, oh, look, so much Ethereum is going to get dumped, Ethereum's going to fall as soon as the Shanghai upgrade happens. Again, I covered this all off. I gave all the reasons, went through all the data, and I said, guys, I actually don't think it's going to be as bad as a lot of people think. I think a lot of people are overblowing this, and it's actually going to be a positive thing for ETH and ETH 2.0. Now, you are seeing that come into fruition. You are seeing some other altcoins moving, and for the first time in a couple of days, we've just seen a little notch down here on dominance, but still, you cannot take out the favor that dominance is in the favor of Bitcoin, right? If you look at what I just did in terms of my drawing a couple of days ago, I said we can break through this 48% line, which it did, come back and retest 48%, and then go on the next move up towards 52. And that's still in play for Bitcoin. That only gets invalidated if this breaks down below 48% and starts trending back into this direction to this upwards trend line. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for here on dominance. So in other words, what I'm expecting is I still expect there to be a continued Bitcoin-led dominant move, but you are starting to see remnants and excitement around people wanting to get into altcoins. And that is why my portfolio is balanced. I've got my veg, I've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I've got altcoins. I have no interest trying to time my way from Bitcoin into Ethereum and my altcoins, and then trying to time my way back again when I think Bitcoin's going to move. That's the quickest way to get wrecked. Find the projects I love, I invest in them, I hold them, and I just wait it out. And Bitcoin will have its moments when it's doing well and holding my portfolio up, and then altcoins will have its moment when it's holding my portfolio up. But overall, as long as I believe in all those projects individually, I'm not going to panic. I don't need to keep rotating in and out and getting wrecked every single time. Fear and greed index sitting at 61. You are feeling that greed in the market. For those of you who are new in the space, this is that kind of, excitement and things starting to move the market. News articles like the one we covered off here in terms of eToro being able to offer trading directly into Twitter are starting to have positive impacts on the market, right? Remember, when you're in the depths of a bear market, when FTX is crashing, Terra Luna is crashing, when inflation is rampant, when all the things are going on, which were going on in 2022, and shout out to you guys who persevered through that, who kept educating yourself, who kept accumulating. You deserve the uplift you've achieved. that 15,500 Bitcoin all the way up to 30,000 Bitcoin and all the altcoins associated moves as well, you deserve that because you were in the depths of that bear market. For those of you who are just entering now, that's absolutely fine, but you will buy at the price that you deserve, right? Based on the risk or lack of risk you're taking. So if you're entering Bitcoin now trying to get the move up towards 64, that's great. You can still take that move, but of course, the 15,000 to 30,000 move is for those who persevered during the bear market bottoms. And in those bottoms, news articles like this don't make a difference. There's no positive articles that are going to come out that's going to help you move the price of Bitcoin. But when you start entering that greed and FOMO stage, when people want to be entering the market, that is when you start to see positive articles really starting to move price. And maybe a company decides to add Bitcoin onto its balance sheet. Maybe another country decides to adopt Bitcoin. Maybe Tesla says something around Bitcoin. And you will start to see that the price will react meaningfully to some of these updates in the news. So that's something we're going to look out for as well. So that's where we're at, guys. You need to decide, is this the boat or the train that you want to get on right now? We are getting closer and closer to getting to our Bitcoin halving event, and history has always proven every time there's a halving, the scarcity increases, the block rewards halve, and that creates more FOMO into Bitcoin. Is this something you want to be involved in, or are you going to leave it for another cycle? The time is now. You've got to make that decision, and procrastinating is not going to help. Don't forget to smash the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.